Morning students, myself BADI ALEKHYA, Assistant Professor, Department of AIML, RMD Engineering College. Today we are going to discuss the topic IO basics. So everybody aware of that what is IO. So for processing the input and output, we are using the packages of streams in Java programming. So what is stream? Here the stream is the sequence of data. It's going to be classified into two types. One is input stream and second one is output stream. So generally input stream is used for reading the data. So whatever the contents you are what are the contents present in the file, if you want to read the contents in the file, we have to use a class called as input stream. For writing the contents to the file, which class we are using? Output stream class. If you observe these things, here file is there, we are going to write the contents. If the file in that file contents are present, it's going to write to the console. So the console will be converted to binary numbers which is understandable to the system. So same thing from source, like that if you are passing, if you are reading any contents, the Java applications will be converted into the form of combinations of zeros and ones. Same like that to understandable to the machines, how to write that contents to the machine by using these binary numbers. What's the function we are using when you are reading is read function or read method. For writing the contents to the output file, we are using write method. So conclusion is, when we are going to handle any file handling concepts in Java, so under file handling concepts, we are going to execute the sequence of data. We have to consider input stream and output stream. So here the input stream is used for reading the data and output stream is used for writing the contents to the file. So here we classified the stream into two types. One is byte streams and second one is character streams. So let us discuss what is byte streams here. Instead of traversing or reading the data character by character in byte streams, that means everybody knows 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. We are going to read the sequence of data 8 bits at a time. Then that type of stream read process, we call it as byte stream reading process. When you are at the same sequence, when you are going to write the contents to the file, the same byte streams writing the contents 8 bits at a time, 8-bit characters at a time. So this concept we are called it as byte streams. What are the classes we are using under byte streams are file input stream, file output streams. Like that we have different types of stream classes under byte streams: buffered input stream, output stream, data input stream, output stream, file input stream, output stream. Sorry, we will back. So these are all the sum of the byte stream concepts we are using under Java programming. So let us take the example how we are going to copy the contents from one file to the another file. If you observe this here, I mentioned the name, normal things. We have to mention the package and I am writing a name of the class, and after that I am starting the main method. So if you observe here, the class name is this file input stream, file output streams are the two classes. So I am creating an object in for file input stream and out for the file output stream. So whenever we are going to read the contents or write the contents, we are going to follow the exceptional handling mechanism. So when I am going to write my logic in the try block, for where my read file is present, the name of that file is here in this example I consider it as input.txt, where I am going to write my contents after reading the file. The name of that file is output.txt. So what are the objects we are created for input stream? In and out. These objects only used for reading the contents and writing the contents. For reading the contents, if you observe, for reading the contents we are using in object, for writing the contents we are using out objects. Before going to write any contents to the file, we have to check whether the file is empty or not. So we have to read the read file will not equal to -1 means what is the meaning of that? The file is not empty. If file is not empty only, the content present in that particular file is going to write to the another file. So that's the concept here. We have to check the condition here. So the read contents of the file should not be equal to the null. Here the null in Java programming we are going to represent in another way as -1, and if you get it to the condition, after if the condition is true, it's going to write the contents to the file. So after completing read-write operations in any file handling mechanism, we after completed the operation, we have to close the read file and we have to close the write file. So what's the objects here in this program we are created for the read contents and the write contents. So the class created in object for the reading, and class created the file output stream class created out object for writing the content. So now in file we have to close and out files you have to close. So this is the procedure for any file handling mechanisms. If you want to read the contents, we have to use a read method. If you want to write the contents, we have to use the write method. After performing or completed the actions, we have to close the file. So store it in mind. Here file input stream and file output streams is a classes. For the classes I am creating an object. So input stream, before that we studied, it's for reading. Output stream is used for writing. So based on that, we have to check the file is empty or not, and then only we proceed for writing operation. After completed the operation, we have to close the file. So these are the steps we have to remember when we are writing the program for the file handling mechanism. So and after that characteristics, the same mechanism here we are following, but the difference between the byte stream and the character stream is here we are going to read the write the contents a character at a time. So the process is slow when compared to the byte stream mechanisms. So file reader, to internally file reader use file input stream and file writer uses file output stream, but the major difference is this: file reader reads 2 bytes at a time and file writer writes 2 bytes at a time. So the main difference here is how it's going to read and write the data to the specific storage. So here also some of the examples for stream classes. There we are including that buffer input stream, buffered output stream, like that. Here also the examples for character streams are buffer reader, buffer writer, file reader, file writer, input stream reader, output stream reader. The all are used to are the classes which are used to read the contents and write the contents present in the file handling mechanism. So same program the previously the internal the internal reading and writing only will be difference in form of byte streams and the character streams. There we can write one byte at a time. Then the character streams we are going to write two bytes at a time. If you observe here the same program, the only classes names will be changed here. The file reader and file writer. The objects created for the class is in and out. Same like previous byte stream mechanisms, the in object is used for reading the contents present in the file, and out objects is used for use it to store use it to copy the contents from input file to the output file. So if you observe that before that initially tell the condition, we have to check that file is empty or not. If the file is not empty, we are going to write the contents to the file. After completed read and write operations, you have to close that in read file and we have to close that write operations. So the close is method we are using to used in the file handling mechanisms after completed the operations. So we have standard streams mechanisms are there. Whenever we are going to write some consoles to the output screen of Java programming, we are using a statement called system.out.println. So here system.out is used for standard output streams. For taking like in our scanner classes, we are using system.in. For if you are wanted to take a runtime input in the Java programming, the standard stream function we are using is system.in. And for error exception handling or error streams. If you want to generate any error message display onto the screen, error stream message onto the screen, we are using system dot error. So this is an example. So here I am using a standard stream called system.out.println. So it's within double quotation. What's the statement I am giving is just as it is printed to the console. And after that we are using system.in.read. What is the meaning of that thing? Na? I am going to get the input by using which standard stream, system.in. Like that, if I want to print any error messages also, I am using the standard stream system.error. This is a simple example. You have to understand what's the purpose of out, what is the purpose of in, and what is the purpose of error. So for reading and writing the consoles, we have three types of classes. One is user buffer reader class, and scanner class, and console class. So already in the previous classes we are aware of scanner class. We just revise it and recap it, how the scanner class, what's the purpose of using scanner class, and what's the purpose of using buffer reader class and console classes. So buffer reader classes is reading accomplishment by system.in. So let us discuss with examples to clearly understand how what's the purpose and how we are going to write the syntax of buffer reader class. So if you observe this program, here I am going to mention the name of the class is test, and we are writing a main method called as public static void main. So here why I am using now, if whenever we are using any these buffered reader classes, so we are going to follow this, any input output exceptions will be there, that's why we are going to follow this thing. And after that, if you observe here, buffer reader br is there, so equal to new buffer reader. This is the syntax for buffer reader. If you observe that buffer reader class, so buffer reader we create an object, and then for memory applications we are using a keyword called new buffer reader and new input stream reader of system.in. So if you observe that these buffer reader will consisting of both streaming process and taking an input at the runtime. So here I am taking this thing, and if I am going to want to take an input as name is like same like that. If you are taking a data type string in buffer reader, I will tell the difference between the scanner class and buffer reader class. In buffer reader class, we are taking, if you want to take an input at the runtime, I am taking a keyword called read. So for string data type I have to take an keyword called line. So read line is a method to read the string under buffer reader. Same thing, if you are it is going to print the input. So next slide I will discuss that how scanner class reading will be different from the buffer reader class. So these are the sum of the primitive data types which is followed by the scanner method. We are aware of that in the first two units, how we are going to take a runtime input by using scanner class. So for integer we are using nestin method, for long nest long, for float nest float, the table nest table. But you put it in mind when you are going to consider any string concept, instead of nest string we have to consider nest line. So observe here what is the difference between the syntax of buffer reader and the scanner. Here I am creating an object for the scanner is in new scanner system.in. So these in will be used to read the contents for the inputs. So for example, if I want to read the string string x, that is the object I am going to create it for the scanner class. The object name is in dot. So what's the method we are going to use to read the string in the scanner class is nest line. So what's the difference now you can understand. In buffer reader, if you want to read a string, we are using a method called read line. In the scanner class, if you want to read a string, we have to use nest line. So for integer is int, for float nest float. These are the sum of the examples for representing the scanner class in Java programming. So console is just we are going to write the contents to the console. just taking the input from the data and produced out, write the data to the output screen. For example, int, I am considering a variable as int y. For that variable, if I am going to assign a character, so if I want to write this thing to this console, system.out.write of y if I consider, and system.out.write of slash and I will consider na, the output will be printed like that. If same thing, if you have doubt here, so if whatever the contents if I want to net, you will often use write to perform console output. So because println are it's not regularly used in Java programming, so in some special cases only we are going to apply. Mostly we are flexible by using the print and println statements in Java. So thank you students. So that's all for the today's topics of IO basics. We will meet with some other new concepts in the upcoming sections.